Hey, it is Strategy with Sally, and today I want to know, do you know what a opportunity pipeline is? Maybe you're struggling to keep track of all those beautiful leads and humans that are interested in your product, and you want to ensure that none of those opportunities actually slip through the cracks. Well, imagine having a sales process that is just like a busy airport with flights, right? Or you could say your leads, and they need to land and take off smoothly without kind of getting mixed up with delays and mixed signals. That's where your opportunity pipeline is going to come in. It's like your air traffic control system, guiding your leads from arrival to conversion. So, as always, it is Strategy with Sally. I'm here for you for our weekly live. Hang on in while we do the Sparkle song, and all the VIPs start to join us in the VIP room. We'll be back in 3.5.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. Shine, darling. Shine. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Shine. Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Strategy with Sally. Everybody's getting their morning exercises in inside the VIP room. I'm watching them jump around, and I'm like, it's too early for that. But I love it. I love seeing you guys dance inside the VIP room. Now, everybody out on the live stream, or if you're watching this on the replay, Comment #replay if you are on the replay or if you're live. Let me know that you're live. Let me know where you're joining us from. Good morning, VIP. So lovely to see you in the room. Okay. Now, anybody who's part of our elite mastermind, please, if you don't know how to get into the VOZ to join us as a VIP, just send us a message on the easiest way would be on Jackie. Send Jackie a message because she's the only team member here today. So, yeah, Jackie, if you need us, or otherwise email us at hello@omnisam.com.au. That's hello@omnisam.com.au. Jackie will keep an eye on the emails if any of our new elite mastermind people are struggling to find their way in. All right. Well, today I thought this was a fabulous topic. Actually, our designer, our visuals and graphics social media gal, Joyce, she said, why don't you do pipelines? And I'm like, what a great idea. Because you see, pipelines are really, they're kind of like your GPS when it comes to your sales process. And also, they're a visual representation. Now, I really mess that up, and I'm going to make that very hard for Ma to edit. So, FYI, this is also a podcast recording, and I went in from talking to the audience straight into the content without even a breath, and poor Ma is going to really struggle to chop in between those words. So if you use your live streams, here's a little hot tip for you. I'm going to digress out of the topic for one moment. But if you're using your live streams to create content, make sure that just before you go into, explaining what the episode's about, that you stop for a second and breathe for a couple of seconds. It makes it easier for your podcast manager or you to cut off all the jibber jabber talking that I'm doing now at the beginning and then get stuck right into the goodness of the content. So I'm going to do that for Ma as well. And another good tip is lead with a hook. So, what is something that somebody is struggling with or having a challenge with that will make them go, oh, I want to listen to that episode. So let me just think of a hook. Yep. All right, here we go. Do you struggle with keeping track of all of those beautiful leads? Yes, those humans that are giving you their email address, and then ensuring that you don't let them slip through the cracks. Now, I know myself, I used to just have Post-it notes everywhere or notes of paper, and I would lose so many leads because of it. So this is why you need to have an opportunity pipeline. It's sort of like your GPS system when it comes to your sales process. And it's also a visual representation that actually guides your leads through all the different stages from when they first show interest at that initial contact stage right through to nurture and convert and becoming a customer. So let's talk about why it's important to have yourself an opportunity pipeline. Because without a structured pipeline, managing all those beautiful leads, those humans, can feel like you're sort of juggling so many balls in the air. And then you're going to risk missing out on the most important thing, the follow-up, right? We know this, the fortune's in the follow-up. I know so much that I even wrote a book on it. But you'll miss those follow-ups. And then in turn, you're going to lose those potential sales and also be wasting all of that valuable time and potentially the money that you've spent in growing your email list. So having a really well-organized pipeline, what that does is that it ensures that every single lead that you have is tracked and also nurtured, and they're guided efficiently to either long-term nurtures until they're ready or into a sales call or a sale and then converting effectively. Now, without a pipeline, it's kind of like you're flying blind. You're really just collecting leads, but they're getting lost in all the shuffle. Follow-ups are really inconsistent, and lots of those opportunities, they're just going to fall through the cracks. And at the end of the day, you're going to be leaving yourself with lots of missed sales and then frustrated prospects because maybe their concerns or their questions aren't being met. Now, when you've got a great setup and you put together a pipeline, you have a really clear visual of what steps all of your leads are going through, or we could call it, well, I like to call it the customer's journey, right? Now, you can track their progress. You can also manage all the follow-ups within the opportunity pipeline. And also, you'll ensure that no leads get neglected. So it's like having a really well-organized airport, like we said before, where every passenger is trying to decide which flight to go to and what time it departs and where does every passenger need to go to be taken care of as well. So setting up your pipeline, we're going to be going into that in more detail soon. I'll be doing a little walkthrough inside of OmniSAM to show you how to set up the pipeline. And this is going to be your GSD task for the day. But set up your pipeline in OmniSAM. It's really, really simple. But first, what I want you to do is get out that pen and paper, okay? And I want you to start to think about what are the different stages that people go through from when they first give you their email address. So we call that a new lead. And then when they start replying to you and having a conversation, we put that in lead responded. So now we're, starting to qualify them and see if they're a good fit for, either our software or our service. And then there's a few other steps in the middle, but eventually they become a customer or, somebody that you've won the deal. Then what you want to start to think about is to assign specific actions to each of the steps in each of the stages. So, for example, if a lead reaches that they've booked a demo call, right, then you might want to say, well, were they a no-show, right? Or did they reschedule? Now, by sort of having them in a stage where it's a demo call and then they don't show, what you can do is when you move them into the no-show part of the pipeline, this then sets up and triggers a series of follow-up emails to see if we can get them to rebook. So what you can do with your pipeline, it's also going to allow you to track the process. So when you're using the features inside of OmniSAM, tracking your leads are as simple as moving them throughout the pipeline. So this will really help you to ensure that no leads are left behind and you can easily manage and know who to follow up with. So here's some tips when you're putting together your pipeline. Number one, be clear. Make sure every stage, VIPs, and can somebody turn off the ding dong? Hang on, Ma, you can edit this section out. I'm just going to make Jackie co-host so she can turn off the ding dongs as well. All right, where were we? Sorry about that, Ma. Let's do that again. So some of the tips that I'd like to, what you really want to think about when you're putting together your pipeline is number one, be clear. Make sure that each stage clearly reflects your sales process. The second thing is make sure you do regular updates. You see, you need to make sure every day, you're looking in the pipeline so that you can ensure that there's accurate information and that also you can avoid confusion where you might leave it for weeks and you're like, who are these people? And also missing out on those opportunities by not checking daily. All right, now, some benefits of having a really well-structured pipeline is, well, sexy numbers, baby. It will improve lead tracking. So when you've got a really well-structured pipeline, it gives you a nice clear view of exactly where each lead stands within the sort of lead to sales process. Also, it helps you to focus your efforts where your efforts are needed. You may have 1,000 clients coming in for the month, but not, or new leads, sorry, but not every single one of them are yet ready to buy. So what we also want to do is make sure that our personal valuable time is given to those people who truly need us. And that's usually the ones that are closer to the sale, right? And of course, our clients, the ones that we're doing fulfillment on. So when you really focus all your efforts on, mastering the use of this well-structured pipeline, in the end, it's just going to lead to higher conversion rates. Now, I've helped a few people over the years set up pipelines, as you can imagine, and we've seen great results where when you start to streamline your process, like some of our clients have seen a 30% or more increase in their conversions because their follow-up processes are then in place as well because of the pipeline. And then it really does ensure that every single lead is in the right stage. And also, the other thing is your response time increases, and then your conversions on the back end of that will increase as well. So like I always say, speed to lead. The quicker you can reply to a new lead, or if somebody was a no-show for an appointment, the quicker you can reply to them, the better chance you have of moving them to the next stage or rebooking that appointment or getting that first appointment. So really automating those reminders for the leads saves you time, but also helps you to avoid missed opportunities. Now, some common pitfalls, okay, when it comes to designing out your opportunity pipeline is some people, they start to overcomplicate stages, right? And when you've got too many stages, then it can lead to confusion and then you just don't go and check your pipeline. So keep it super simple and relevant to your particular process. And another big problem that I see, a huge sort of pitfall is ignoring updates, right? Failing to regularly update the pipeline, adding notes to the customer's file as you move them through the pipeline. One rule, actually, I learned this from when I worked for the government in Centrelink. If you open a customer's file, you have to leave a note. Write that down. If you open the customer's file, you have to leave a note. You do not leave a customer's file without leaving a note, right? And I hope Jackie's listening. She's getting better at it. She's amazing, but she's on to one and on to the next. And at the end of the day, you're trying to put in your notes and you can't remember them, so it takes you longer. Take that extra 3 or 4 minutes to type up the note every time you open a customer's file. Jackie's about to interrupt because I called her by name, but that's okay. Come on, Jackie. Yeah. Yes, I know. Back in our last business, Jackie, that was the one thing all the time, wasn't it? Did you do the notes? So, yeah, definitely notes. Now, yes, we do have a form that every time you have an appointment, our automation sends you an email that says, fill in this form during your appointment. Then you put your notes in, and then you can copy and summarize your notes and automatically paste it in another little block. And what it does is it then sends a recap email automatically to the customer as well. So it's a really handy little form. Okay, now some troubleshooting problems. Troubleshooting tips really. To ensure that the pipeline doesn't get too overwhelming is, I'm going to say it again, review it regularly. Okay? Always review the pipeline, but then using your data, you make data-driven decisions and start to refine your pipeline. really, because what we want to do is ensure that, your pipeline aligns with your sales process. And also, if you've got a team, constantly be seeking feedback. Get their input. Get them to identify issues that they're having and make sure that you then make those necessary adjustments. All right, here's the good times now. We are moving into GSD. So for those that don't know, one of our viewers are going to type it in the chat. Let's see how many of the viewers know what GSD stands for. We are going to be moving into GSD now, and it's time to roll up your sleeves because I'm going to show you how to set up an opportunity pipeline inside of OmniSAM. And what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you the stages that we have, but you can then model success, right? Model what works so you don't have to reinvent the wheel and create a similar tracking process for you that's going to allow you to effectively manage and track your leads. All right, so let's head on over to, let's see if I've got the right button here. Yay, I do have the right button. All right, so when you're inside of OmniSAM, on the left-hand side, you will see opportunities. That's where we want to go. And then along the top here, you'll see opportunities, pipelines. Now, you can create many different pipelines. We've just got a basic pipeline in here. Oh, my fingers are so cold, it won't move. There we go. So we've just got a standard lead pipeline, which has a lead. And then if they're interested, then when they book an appointment, not interested, and sold. Now, that is a very basic pipeline, but I want to show you what we do. And while I do it, I'm going to build it with you so that you can see how you could set this up for yourself. So when somebody is interested in OmniSAM, right, we call them a new lead. So inside of opportunities, we're going to go along the top menu and we're going to choose pipelines. Then under pipelines, this is where we can create a new pipeline. So let's just say this pipeline is for a lead to customer, right, for OmniSAM. And now when you start thinking about all the different stages, I've got them here for you. I'm going to show you our stages. So stage number 1 is what we call a new lead, right? They've given us their email address or their phone number. Usually we've got to have one of the two to really put them in the system because otherwise we don't know how to reach out to them unless they've connected with us through, say, Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. We can still put them in that way as long as we're in the DMs talking to them. Then what we do is once they start replying to an email or replying to a text message, then they move into lead responded. All right, so lead responded. Now, the very first step from there that we really want to get people to is to an intro call. So an intro call is really a qualifying call with Jackie, right? So she will make sure that they're qualified, that they're interested in OmniSAM. So generally the intro call is, a shorter call just for qualifying. So you could, in the sales industry, sometimes you would call this the setter, right? They're doing a quick few questions to make sure that they're actually qualified. Maybe, they're literally just a person doing arts and crafts at home and they're not running a business. So they don't really need our software, right? But also what we have is a couple of other stages from the intro call. As I stated before, we want to also make sure no leads fall through the cracks. So what if they cancel the appointment and do not rebook? We need to note that and put them in that pipeline as that they've cancelled the appointment or if they are a no-show. All right, so those are the two main things that we move people in because the goal of these two stages is to get them back into the appointment booked stage. Now, what I generally do is I will put the appointment booked here because it's really further down the pipeline, right? We want them to book. They'll drop down to earlier stages in the pipeline if they cancel. Now, the next stage that we have is a demo call. Now, this is usually either with myself or Jackie at this stage, only because we're in startup, but eventually someone else will be doing them for us. But this is now where we're actually taking them in and explaining all the services to them, all the things that we can do. If you want a hand in regards to how to run sales calls, then you just head to my YouTube channel. Or on the podcast, I have explained the steps in regards to doing a sales call, but we use that framework as well in the demo call. It's a longer call. We're really now digging into what area they're struggling with the most so that we can really start to align our offer with their biggest struggles. But then, of course, what's going to happen? Some of those people are going to cancel, right? I like the ones that cancel because at least they let me know when I'm not just sitting there waiting for somebody to come in the room. And also sometimes they will just be a no-show, which isn't as fun, but hey, I get a little bit of extra work done. All right. So as I said, I like to put this one after those because if they do no-show or cancel, they've got to go back down the pipeline a little bit. Now, the next stage would be if they are at what we call a contract or invoice sent stage. So this is usually only for those who are buying a service, okay? We will have a contract or we'll send out an invoice for that. The software itself, we don't really do contracts and invoices. People just go and buy straight from the link. But you could have that as, a checkout link sent, right? If they didn't buy. Now, the next stage it's called negotiation. Now, the negotiation stage is when you get to the end of the call and they're like, oh, I've got to talk to my business partner or my husband or wife before making a decision. Now, if you're smart with your sales calls, at the beginning of it, you will ask them if there's any other decision makers involved before going through the whole sales call or demo call. Hey, but if you forget and they do have to go off and, have a discussion with somebody, we move them into negotiation, which means if they're in negotiation, we also have a follow-up date set, right? So we either have a date set directly in our calendar to follow up that they've agreed to, or best even yet would be to book that next appointment to hear back from them. So one of the big rules we always say is never finish a conversation without booking your next conversation, even if it's in 6 or 12 months' time. Always book that next conversation. So they would sit in negotiation. Now, the next few stages are about if they buy or not. So if they didn't buy, they would move into that stage, right, which then would trigger a series of emails to them to educate them more. Another one that we have after that one, which is really cool, is that we won, right? We got a new customer who's signed up to our software. And then eventually what will happen is what we really want them to do once they've been using the software, and this is what people forget to do, is get a review, right? So anyone who's sitting in customer 1 who has not left a review, you should be sending out review requests. And then once they've done that review, move them into here. So we can visually see, hey, all these people are still our customers and they've left us a review. Now, eventually, sometimes people cancel, right? So we also want to have in here, if they cancel, we want to track how many were our customers and are no longer our customers. So we have cancelled. Now, at the end of a call, sometimes people just aren't yet ready, and it's a long time until they'll be ready. So what we have available is the long-term nurture, which means we're going to move them into the long-term nurture. It's going to put them into the weekly email series, And then one day they'll get another offer email that they opt into, which should pull them right back in here to the new lead section. So say you're running a promotion and some of those people in the long-term nurture opt in, it now moves those long-term nurture people into a new lead. If they start replying, it becomes a lead responded, and really they're just working their way back through the pipeline. And then the final one, which is always good to know, is maybe they're just not a good fit. Maybe their values don't align with yours. Maybe they're just not in business. Maybe, they're 99 and not working anymore, right? So a bad fit would pull them out of everything, out of the long-term nurtures. It would remove them from any of your email sequences so that they don't get annoyed. If they're not ready or if they don't need us, we don't need to keep sending them emails. So that's how we set up the pipeline for you to move people through. So now we're going to just click save. And then when we go back to the opportunities section, you will see if I swap to this pipeline, now we've got all of these stages set up for you to move people through. Now, inside of the business in a box that we give all of our clients, they get a pipeline, but inside each of these stages is also triggering different events to happen. So I'm just going to give you an example of a couple of the events that might get triggered. So let me just hop into, say, our life coaching business in a box and show you the pipeline that we've created for a life coach, but also what are the things that happen when we move them through these stages. So a new lead, an engaged lead, how do they even get into that section, right? So let's go into automations and I'll give you a quick look at a couple of the workflows that will trigger putting people into the pipeline. So every single person that opts in through any top of funnel lead magnet all get entered into this sequence. Now, you can see I've set up a couple of examples here. So they've submitted a lead form, right? So this lead form could be for a checklist or an ebook or whatever downloadable or video that you're giving away in return for an email address. Inside of OmniSAM as well, you can have TikTok forms, maybe you've got a website form, right? A lead form on Facebook. And there's many other things, like we've got a current challenge running for Canva Made Easy, and anyone who opts into that comes in here. Then what we do is we assign which person on our team is going to look after the new lead. And this is where we create the opportunity. So in here, it's where we go to the lead to sales pipeline and we put them into a new lead section in the pipeline, and we just put the person's name as the opportunity type. And then always mark its status to open, right? Because the other options are won, lost, or abandoned. So open means, they're a current prospect. Won, what that means, they've made a purchase. Lost means that you've done everything you possibly can and they've said no, right? So they've literally said no, don't want to buy. Abandoned means we keep asking and asking over a period of time, and then it's like, okay, we're done asking now. This person is not going to say no. They're just going to ghost. So we move them to abandoned. It means we've given it a go, but maybe they drop back in at the top of the funnel later, right? Through another lead magnet, through another promotion. But, I give it a good sort of 3 to 6 months before I put them in abandoned, because all your automation should be taking care of the follow-up for you. All right. So that's the first one. Now, there's a lot of other automation going on down here, but that's not relevant to the pipeline at this stage. All right, so now let's think about what then happens. We've got this new lead in. How do we move them to engaged lead? Well, it's actually very simple when you've got OmniSAM. The two main things that I set up is a trigger when a customer replies to something, right? So if they hit reply on an email, that will trigger. If they hit a reply on a text message, that will trigger. If they reply to a DM on Facebook, that will trigger as well. Now you can really choose lots of different ways in which it triggers, by choosing under the filters, you could choose reply channel, right? And then under reply channel, you can choose which channel they've replied through. So was it a call? Was it through the chat widget? Was it through an email reply, Facebook Messenger? Now, Google My Business is actually getting rid of messages, so that will be removed eventually. An Instagram DM, have they had a live chat with you in an active chat widget that you've got on some website? Have they replied to an SMS? Or have they replied to a WhatsApp message? So you could, if you wanted to, filter it down to individual things if you wanted to track exactly which source that they prefer to communicate through. But just to make sure that everybody who replies falls into this and moves a stage, we just go customer replied, and it will be on any of those options. All right, so that's how we move, and the system automatically moves them into lead respond for you. So how much easier is that when the system moves it and you don't have to remember when you get a text message to go to the pipeline and move the person into lead responded? Now, the next step that we have here is when people are actually booking appointments. So here under call booked or call to follow up, when any appointment is booked, right, you build your automation in here with different appointment types along the top. So the standard appointments that go into most of the businesses in a box that we send out is the longer consult and the shorter consult. So your shorter one could be your setting call or your intro call or your triage call. And then your longer call could be, the sales call, the demonstration, the consultation. And lots of people call them many different things like, audits or discovery sessions. All right. So if you've got different calendars, make sure every calendar is along here, and also that every calendar has a stage in the pipeline as well. So we built 2 stages today, but if you've got different calendars, make sure you do build a stage in your pipeline for each of those calendars, because also one, it will let you know what appointment type they've booked, but if they don't show or they cancel, it will automatically move them into a sequence to follow up and reschedule. So what then happens after they've booked the appointment, the system then, the automation removes the contact from the new contact workflow, because the purpose of the new contact is to get them to book an appointment, right? So if they've booked that appointment, we want to remove them from that workflow, because I don't want to keep getting emails saying book an appointment. And I'll be like, I have already. Also, if they've cancelled an appointment or been a no-show, and now they've rebooked, we need to remove them from that series of reminders as well. And then if they're a stale lead, now a stale lead is one of those people that have been on our system for more than 90 days and they haven't interacted in anything, and we're trying to get them engaged again and give them a little promotional offer. But if they've booked the appointment again, we don't want them to keep getting those emails. And then there's a couple of internal notifications that we let the team know. And then depending on the appointment type, it adds them here again, create or update an opportunity stage. So we put them into whichever type of appointment they have booked, which of course, like we said, there was either the longer or the shorter or any of your appointment calendars. So by putting them in here, and to all our clients who have the business in a box, that also sends all the text message and email reminders out to your clients that we've set up here for you. Now, the next step is when they cancel, right? So when you mark the appointment cancelled, or you put them into the section in the pipeline where they've cancelled, they'll come down here, right? And it will make sure they're in the right section of the pipeline, and then it will send a series of emails and text messages to get them to reschedule. Now, another stage in the pipeline is then if they buy. So if they buy, then that would go in under invoicing. And when they make a payment and their first payment goes through, then it removes them from invoice sent. And the payment isn't actually the workflow that triggers it. It's the payment that triggers it, right? The payment itself is what moves them into the pipeline. Now, the rest of them, no show, bad fit, long-term nurture, bad fit, they would move them into let's go back to automations, go into miscellaneous. So if the if the stale lead gets triggered, right, that will move them into a long-term nurture, which means that if they have not opened and they have not clicked or interacted with any of our correspondence for more than 90 days, right, they do move into a long-term nurture, as well as trying to get a response series, but that's a whole nother lesson. All right, so try to keep your opportunity pipelines as simple as possible. Do not overcomplicate them by, trying to put and we used to do this too, attempt to contact 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then via call, via phone. And you just have so many steps that you just go in there and you choose not to use it because it's too complicated. So keep it super simple, right? Super simple, because once you set up your automations and you're constantly checking that opportunity pipeline, it's going to lead to better results, better conversions, and also you will actually free up more time, right? Because the system's doing a lot of the follow-up for you. So your GSD task for you today is go and create a pipeline or an opportunity pipeline, right? Start setting up the opportunity pipeline in OmniSAM, or if you're one of our clients that have the business in a box, then, we've already got it in there for you. Go through it, have a look at it, make sure you understand it. And if you are using another piece of software, that's fine. You got Trello or so many things, Asana, Keep. These softwares have some pipelines in them. I want you to outline your stages for your pipeline. Define, what is the criteria for them to be a lead, right? And then think about each of the steps that you need to track and manage those leads effectively. All right, so that's your GSD task today. Alrighty, and we can see one or a few, but let's bring up Trish because she's awesome. This is what it means, GSD. We've got some GSD happening next week. I'll tell you all about that in a moment. Now, if you are really ready to sort of take your sales process to the next level, if you would like to learn more about OmniSAM, we've just brushed the surface here today. We're currently in founder stage, right? We haven't done our big launch party yet. It's coming when we iron out all the creases. But if you would like to learn more about OmniSAM, and if you do decide to use our software, you will get it at our founder member price, which means you get the unlimited premium access for the price of the starter plan for life. So all the bells and whistles for the cheapest plan. So don't miss out on this opportunity to really optimize your business using opportunity pipelines and really boost your business's success using OmniSAM to help you with the fortunes in the follow-up. Now, also, I have some other news for you. We are bringing back our challenge, the Canva Made Easy Challenge. So if you would like to join us in the Canva Made Easy Challenge, it starts next week. What you want to do is just go to canvamadeeasy.com and register for a spot today. What you'll get in that is we're going to be, giving you an overview of Canva and what it can do. But the best bit is at the end of the challenge week, you will have 3 months of content designed and all the descriptions written and scheduled across all of your social media platforms. And not only that, that content will go on for repurposing month and year after year after year. And we're going to share with you more on how you can achieve that. So that in about sort of 3 to 6 months' time, the only content you should really be creating is promotional content, because all of the evergreen content is taking care of business for you. But we'll be going into that more inside the Canva Made Easy Challenge. Go to canvamadeeasy.com and join us next week. I'm really excited. It's been a while since we've done a challenge. We're known for challenges, but we took a bit of a break. But I'm so looking forward to the new challenge. Now, before we close off for today, is there anyone in the room who would like to share a key takeaway from today? Please come up. Don't be shy. Where are my people? I'm looking for my buttons. Who's going to come up and share a key takeaway? They're all like going, okay, come on. Come on, Maria. You're not shy. Don't pretend to be shy. We know you're not shy. You are. You certainly are. I love how much action you take. It's so good. Yes, yes. Well, Trisha's out on the live stream. She typed it in. She's got it going down. She knows what it's all about. Oh, okay. Sorry. Thank you so much, Trisha. So Trisha's telling me we cannot hear you on the live stream. So thank you so much. Let me just figure out. All the problems that I have. Let's see if this works for try now. Talk. Nope. All right. Then let's try. Oh, that's so annoying. I thought I had fixed all of this stuff. Try now. Nah. All right, look, I don't have time to try and fix it with everybody in the room at the moment, but what I'm going to do is we're going to finish this. This is one good thing about being a VIP. Maria's one of my premium clients. I only take on 9 of them a year, no more. But also our elite mastermind clients, if you're out there, come on into the VOZ. If you cannot find the link, please email hello@omnisam.com.au and ask for the link. Jackie's monitoring the inbox as we speak. She will make sure you get the link. We are fixing some of the elite. I'll tell those in the room and I'll put it out on a notification. We're just fixing a couple of things in the elite program. All right. So first off, thank you for making it to the end of Strategy with Sally. Well done, you. Make sure you comment below and let me know that you made it to the end, right? Or take a snapshot of wherever you're watching or listening to this and tag me over on social media, whether it's on Instagram stories or Facebook stories. Tag me by name and let me know what your biggest takeaway was from today. But thank you, as always, for tuning into Strategy with Sally. If you found this session really helpful, don't forget to also like and share. And YouTube, go and subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the little bell button, because then you'll get notifications whenever I'm live streaming. But next time, we're going to do more awesome tips around how to supercharge your business using automation, sales, and marketing. But as always, guys, never let anyone dull your sparkle. Make sure you get at least one income-producing activity done each and every day. And I'll see you next week on Strategy with Sally. Oh, don't forget the Canva challenge.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't